What you're about to hear is one of the most dramatic escalations in the North American trade war since it began, and I want you to stay with me because the implications of what Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney just did will reshape the economic relationship between Canada and the United States for years to come. Ottawa has officially fired back at Donald Trump, slamming down a brutal new wall of steel tariffs that have stunned markets, rattled Washington, and sent a thunderous message across the border. This is no longer a quiet diplomatic standoff. This is open economic warfare between two of the closest allies on the planet, and at the center of it stands a battered steel industry, 23,000 workers staring at uncertainty, and a prime minister who has decided that absorbing punishment in silence is no longer an option. Trump pushed, Carney pushed back, and what happens next could redraw the entire map of North American trade. Let me walk you through exactly what has unfolded, because the details here matter and the stakes are far higher than most people realize. I have been following this story for weeks now, and what Prime Minister Mark Carney's government has just formalized is nothing short of a defensive package built on hard steel and hardened resolve. Ottawa has rolled out a sweeping new structure of tariff rate quotas, and on top of those quotas, they have layered a punitive 50% surcharge on any out-of-quota imports flooding into Canada. This is a calibrated, deliberate, and unmistakable response to Donald Trump's 50% Section 232 tariffs, the same tariffs that have been suffocating Canadian steel producers for months. Carney's finance officials are framing these measures as absolutely necessary, and frankly, when you look at the numbers, it is hard to argue with them. Roughly half of all Canadian steel production is normally shipped south of the border into American factories, American construction sites, and American supply chains. When Washington slams the door shut, half of an entire industry suddenly has nowhere to go. And let me tell you, the human cost of this trade fight is becoming impossible to ignore. The Canadian Manufacturing Coalition has been sounding the alarm, and the picture they paint is grim. There are 23,000 workers in Canada's steel industry and another 10,000 in aluminum, and layoffs are starting to mount in real time. Plants are operating below capacity. Some are quietly considering temporary shutdowns. Families across Hamilton, across Sault Ste. Marie, across communities in Quebec and Ontario are watching their livelihoods hang by a thread because of a trade dispute they did not start and cannot control. I want you to think about that for a moment. These are not abstract numbers on a spreadsheet in Ottawa or Washington. These are workers who pour molten metal, who run rolling mills, who feed their kids on paychecks built from one of the most fundamental industries in the modern economy. And right now, those paychecks are under direct threat from the trade war between Trump and Carney. Now, Carney has not just thrown up tariff walls and walked away. His government has paired the retaliation with a serious financial cushion designed to keep the industry alive while the fight rages on. We are talking about more than $1 billion in liquidity supports flowing directly to Canadian steel and aluminum producers. On top of that, Ottawa is rolling out a brand new Buy Canadian procurement policy, which essentially forces government projects to prioritize domestic metal over imported product. And there is one more move that I find particularly clever, a 50% interprovincial rail freight discount on Canadian steel and lumber set to begin this spring. What does that mean in plain language? It means that Canadian producers can ship their product across provincial borders